What it is, what it do, shout the world. It is your girl, the one and only, Ash Brown, and this is the ashsaidit show. Over 2,000 episodes since 2014, 500,000 streams all around the world. None of this is possible without you guys, so I thank you so very much. Today, we are blessed with a guest that was very unexpected, but I'm super excited to talk to. Now, this brand has been seen a little bit of everywhere. If you guys are into dessert wars, this is one of the champions of dessert wars. And their product is shipping nationwide. I'm hoping that it's more than continental U.S., but we're going to get into that later. We've got Shane of Sugar Shanes. Hey, Shane.
Hey, thank you for having me. How's it going today?
It's going pretty great. Thank you so much for coming through. So, Shane, so I wanted to start off with that. So, you guys ship nationwide, all across the nation.
We do. And you did touch on something. So, we do ship nationwide, inner 48 currently. Mm-hmm. We're looking to move to Canada and the UK by Q4. So, in the next month, that is the goal to open it up. Yep, that is the goal. We've been trying to push this for a while. We've done a couple of select shipments to Hawaii, Alaska, and the UK in the past, but we want to kind of open it all up, hopefully by Q4. So hopefully the next 3 weeks or so we got it solved and ready to go.
Yeah, sounds like the plan. Now, Shane, Sugar Shanes precedes itself because as we were talking before, I've been a little bit of travel the last couple of years, just moved back to Georgia, and I was gifted an entire dozen of your wonderful cookies. And I did share. I shared a few with my brother. He helped me move in, so I was, he got a couple, but I'm not going to lie. I enjoyed the rest. I absolutely enjoyed the rest. And I had been hearing such great things about the brand. People have been talking about it to and from, but that was my first experience with it. And I was absolutely blown away. The flavors, some of my favorites, I would say, was the orange creamsicle. I like that one.
Love it.
Betty White, I think that was a really awesome tribute. I was like, this is so cute. She would love this.
Yes. Yeah.
And I think the all-time favorite, which is I think a lot of people's favorite, is the cookies and cream. You can't really go wrong with cookies and cream.
Yeah, bestseller. Yeah, it's the bestseller for a reason. Yeah.
Definitely. So why don't you tell us a bit about the origin story on how these cookies even came to be?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, once again, thanks for having me on. But Sugar Shanes is kind of a unique story. I grew up in a baking and a cooking household, but I didn't learn anything from any family members, unfortunately. I would love to claim I've got grandmother's or mother's recipe. My mom's side of the family's from Italy. But I actually didn't get into cooking or baking until my 20s. By the time I was in college, I had worked at a fine dining restaurant in Nashville over summer and kind of picked up cooking. I was actually making food for just about everybody. But at this point, it was just cooking, and I went the corporate route. I worked for a couple supply chain companies and then last worked for Amazon. So I moved around quite a bit. I lived in Knoxville, Nashville, Newport Beach, California, Seattle, and then Atlanta. And that was kind of my journey to the city. So I moved here in 2018. Still, my goal always was by the time I turned 30, I run my own business and do my own thing. Well, I was 28 in 2018. I had a pretty good career. I thought there was going to be an opportunity to open a supply chain company a couple times, but it just didn't work itself out. So actually, I traveled quite a bit in my 20s. I've been to over 20 countries, over 45 states, and I've been in and out of New York City at least 30 times, probably close to 40. And in late 2019, me and my buddies were up in New York for a concert, and we were there watching the college football playoffs, and I had read and seen about these things, quote-unquote, gourmet cookies that I never had tried in any of my previous 30 trips. So I went on like a self-cookie tour. I went to 8 spots in about 3 hours and devoured cookies all the way through. I met up back with my buddies later on, and I turned to arguably my kind of most successful, one of my mentors, my best friend out of Southern California, and told him, hey, I'm going to start a gourmet cookie company. At this point in time, I never baked before. Yeah, I never baked before in my life. I didn't have any equipment, so I went back to Atlanta, made a batch by hand, actually hated it. So I said, never going to do this again. This is too much work. I brought them to work, and people were like, hey, these are really good. I took like a generic recipe into some small tweaks off, watching YouTube videos and Reddit, and I always joke I got my culinary degree from University of Reddit and my master's from a YouTube university. And so, but anyways, I had kind of picked up some steam. After I brought them to work and got a little more confidence, I went ahead and bought a mixer, and then I went gung-ho in January 2020. For the next 2 months, I was baking every day possible, in and around the clock. March 1st, 2020, right before the pandemic, I opened a quote-unquote Sugar Shane's, which was a gourmet catering company that specialized in cookies. Well, unfortunately, the pandemic hit 12 days later, and that quote-unquote catering company quickly went under without ever really doing a major project. We had a couple pending St. Patrick's Day parties that never happened because of the pandemic, obviously. And then, so what happened at that point is I went kind of back to the drawing board. I decided, you know what, I got to figure out how to ship these. I don't know how long we're going to be inside for. So I got a camera, fixed my social media, kind of developed the product, and started really, really pushing out content. So by the time June of 2020 rolled around, I've got a pretty interesting story, and that is, at this point in time, we had like local delivery and local pickups, but no one was really buying them. So I started faking sellouts. So from anywhere from late March 2020 to mid-June of 2020, I was faking sellouts. We would turn on our quote-unquote cookies. I was even going as far as taking screenshots from other cookie companies that had like a lobby of 500 people and putting it on my story. So fake it till you make it, especially early on, is any piece of advice I gave anyone. And I knew the moment I knew it was working was it was early June 2020, and I was about to turn it back on and actually start shipping and selling cookies. Shipping again, we were still selling them locally. When I got some DMs from my grandmother in Mississippi being like, hey, I've tried to get these the last 6 weeks. Is there a promo code I can use? We turned it back on, got a couple hundred orders within a couple minutes, and it kind of scaled from there. So that was the original origin story of Sugar Shane's. Quickly after that, I was still working full-time at Amazon all the way through. I was a senior program manager, so I had a pretty big territory. I had decided that I would go ahead and get a location without letting my office know. And so everything's remote at this time. I'm remote, but I found a condemned location, which is still our number one store. It's called The Lab. It's in Midtown on 14th Street in Atlanta. And what had happened at that point in time is I took over a condemned spot. It took me about 2 months of ripping up floors, removing mold, painting walls, fixing the sinks. And keep in mind, I was not a handy guy before this got going. So taught myself the same way I taught myself baking, which was through Reddit, YouTube, and everything else. And then by Q4, right before Christmas, we had a nice pop. I hired my first intern, and the work at that point had found out about Sugar Shane. So that the cat was out of the bag. I, was like, hey, yes, I have this other company, but I'm focused on Amazon. So that was the kind of the origins of 2020. And then we had kind of scaled from there. In 2021, you mentioned Dessert Wars. They came to Atlanta. That was May of 2021. I had won Dessert Wars. I called my boss after I won and gave him kind of my 6 or 8 weeks notice. And I left Amazon July 9th of 2021, and we opened our first store to the public at that point in time.
Wow. That is incredible. That is definitely an incredible origin story. Love to get that from you. Wow. So where do you all pull, like, the flavors and the different themes are outstanding. I absolutely love them. And they're just so out of the box, but relatable. You'll see these, like, Cookie Monster. You'll see stuff and you're like, oh my God, these are so awesome. Where do you guys pull inspiration for these flavors?
Yeah, it comes from a couple things. I would say more than anything, just kind of my mom, and she even admitted it, she's like, hey, growing up, I didn't think you were a creative person. And then I see where the creativity comes out, and it's in these cookies. And so it can be anywhere for me, looking online, looking at some inspiration, trying something, or just walking down a grocery store at Costco, Walmart, Publix, Kroger. You see some item, and you're like, you know what, I think I could make that into a cookie. That's the majority of it. However, there's a couple other sources, and a lot coming from our fans and customers, and they say, hey, can you make this cookie? Have you thought about this? And so we open polls up, every month, give customers the inspiration to do it. We've even made customers their own cookies. We've done a couple segments, and we're going to bring it back where they give us everything. Yeah. We just decide, how to make it, and then they give us a rating afterwards. So that's been a pretty cool exercise as well. Last but not least, the gourmet cookie world's pretty competitive in a sense, but we're also really close. So I've got multiple other large cookie companies that take inspiration from them and vice versa. I've obviously stolen ideas from ever. I think a couple of the ones I've done is like the Reese's Oreo, which is like the first of its kind, which is you stack a Reese's and an Oreo on top of a cookie. And there's probably been 2,000 versions of it since then, but I do like to claim that I was the originator of that one. So, but yeah, that's kind of the three pillars of inspiration.
Wow. So, what was the catalyst for Cookie for a Cause? What kind of pulled you guys into
great
that?
Question. Mm-hmm. So during the pandemic, I've always, thought, like, how can I give back in a sense of the business? And that was an early goal of mine. And, that there was Barstool Sports had did a early thing just for restaurants, and they created a fund. It was the Barstool Fund. We donated a bunch of money to that off a cookie. And when I did that, I said, you know what, I think we can keep this going, but instead work mainly with local, nonprofits. And we've done a couple regional, a couple national. I've got a friend of mine who's had breast cancer, sort of a great nonprofit out of Colorado and LA. We've helped them out. But the majority of our projects are local nonprofits. And so I decided, you know what, I've got the creativity to kind of turn anything to a cookie, and my staff is amazing at it as well. I think we could probably pair something with whatever they're looking for. So, for example, we've done anything from strawberry for breast cancer awareness. We've done Halloween influence for Kids Foundation. We've done funfetti for children's hospitals. We've done a red, white, and blue for a veterinarian fund and a veterans fund. And then, right now it's the Kyle Pitts Foundation, which we'll get to in a second. But the whole theme of that is kind of the Falcons colors and kind of Kyle's his favorite cookie is the cookies and cream to spin on that as well. So it was an easy way to give back. We could change it from month to month. It's pretty cool to see, the amount of money we can raise, and not only that, the kind of the amount of eyes we can draw to certain foundations. We've got, upwards of 20,000+ SMS and email subscribers. So just one email could be pretty powerful, as obviously as well as our social media. It's got about 50,000 between the platforms.
Yes, and definitely huge shout out to our Atlanta Falcons. I was just watching week 1 on Sunday. Shout out to Kyle Pitts. Had that touchdown. Okay,
cool,
you seen it.
Cool touchdown, yep.
Loving that. Now, how was that connection made? You and Kyle Pitts.
Sure.
Foundation.
A while back, Kyle had came by. I think his manager, Tyron, had reached out and said he may be coming by anyways, and I was in the shop. He came in. He's like, I heard about these cookies. I want to try them out. And he really liked the product. We originally, about 2 years ago, tried to do a similar thing. We were going to put one of his cookies on the menu. This is before Cookies for a Cause days. And I was like, you know what? I saw that he'd opened up this nonprofit, and I reached back out to him, and he was like, yeah, let's do it. So we developed a cookies and cream with a cookies and cream buttercream and some red sprinkles. Yeah. His foundation is brand new. It's pretty cool. It's centered around the youth, and it's really just helped them with, education opportunities and experiences. And so a great foundation. I think it's going to have huge success moving forward, and we're happy to help out.
Yeah, and that cookie is available for this month, correct?
Whole month of September, all 4 stores. You can get that at our Kennesaw location. You can get it inside Ponce City Market. You can get it at our Sandy Springs in Midtown. Unfortunately, we cannot ship it because there is an exposed buttercream that wouldn't work. However, we do delivery apps. We do our own delivery in store as well. So if you're anywhere around the Atlanta area, there's really no excuse not to be able to get this cookie. We're pretty accessible from all areas within the Atlanta metro area.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we definitely gotta come through for that. And last but certainly not least, Shane, a little birdie told me that you guys don't just have cookies anymore, but there are now cakes.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
Yes. So we got a couple things now. So our number 3 selling item is actually the cheesecake brownie. So funny enough, we had tried brownies and brownies. I'm a huge brownie guy.
Yeah.
And we had good brownies. They just wouldn't hit as well as the cookies. And then I tried a cheesecake brownie about 20 times. And to be honest with you, I gave it up. I said, we can't figure it out. There's too much brownie or too much cheesecake. Finally, we gave it one more whirl. And man, did we get it. So that's one of the items that's always on the menu. We actually have a gluten-free product now as well, and it's a great one. It's a Rice Krispie treat. People don't know this, but a generic Rice Krispie is actually not gluten-free. So you have to buy it wholesale, buy it gluten-free. Yes, right now we've got a strawberry shortcake Rice Krispie. We change those flavors from month to month, or actually sometimes week to week, but this one's great. It's just like a strawberry shortcake and a Rice Krispie made with real dehydrated strawberries. So it's actually a pretty solid product as well. And then we do bun cakes and full-size cakes. We do cookie cakes. We do a chocolate ganache cake, a red velvet cake. And then we rotate the cake flavors such as birthday cake and so on. So, yeah, pretty diverse. We've done lemon bars in the past. We've really opened it up. I always say I don't want to release something unless I think it's up to the Sugar Shane cookie quality. And so far, we have people that comment and say, hey, I don't mean to be mean to you, but I like the brownie better or I like the Rice Krispie better. That doesn't hurt my feelings. I love that. Same thing if someone says, I've only had your cake before, I've never had cookies. That's great. That's kind of the point of it. We're more so now a full-on bakery. We've done muffins as well. So we're happy to get any feedback, especially if you like something other than cookies. Cookies not for everybody.
Right. And so basically what you're saying is there's absolutely no excuse not to try a Sugar Shane's for, birthdays, weddings, Friday. It's always an excuse.
We've even gone as far as, and you can order this from as far as California and order it locally. We have a birthday box. So some people don't want a full-size cake, or they don't want to spin a full cake. It's a special design birthday box. You get 6 items in it. Next month you'll get a card with it. It'll be handwritten. And so there's no excuse not to at least trial Sugar Shane for a birthday. Send the gift. If you want to get a cake, we turn them the next day, but you can order the birthday box within 30 minutes delivered to whatever door you're trying to get to within the Atlanta metro area.
I love it. And Shane, what's the best way for people to get more information, of course, and to order their cookies that can be delivered nationwide?
Yep, so sugarshanes.com has got everything for you. It's got local delivery. It's got nationwide shipping. It's got your cake order. We do a bunch of catering as well. If you want to find us on socials, we're at sugar_shanes. That's on TikTok and on Instagram. We are on YouTube Shorts as well, the same handle. And last but not least, we're on Facebook at Sugar Shanes, ATL, one word.
Sounds like the plan. Shane, thank you so much for coming through today. Certainly appreciate everything that you're doing with all of the sugar and with all of the foundations. Definitely looking forward to checking back in with you. I know that there's going to be more stuff and more announcements coming in the coming months, and I would love for you to come and share that with us.
Would love to come back on, and I appreciate you having me on today.
Not a problem. And I appreciate each and every one of you guys. Thank you so much for your love and support. Keeping in mind, anyone to tell you that you can't do what you want to do, you look them square in the face, you tell them, don't believe me. Just watch. Watch what I do. Watch me make it happen. Watch me make history. That's what we're doing this for, the history books. Social media is nice, but real life is so much better. Until next time, you guys.